You know, we all know that Donald Trump is completely out of touch with ordinary Americans. He is. He can't relate to us because he's never put in a hard day's work. He's never faced the struggles that we've faced. He's just a spoiled rich dude that has always been handed everything on a silver platter. His daddy gave him a small loan of $1 million, and he went out into the world and just made a mockery out of everything around him. You know, the old saying, leave the world better than you found it, Donald Trump did not hear that. He missed that meeting completely. He completely missed the meeting on leave the world better than you found it, and instead he's going to leave it with a giant stain on its history, and it's truly disgraceful. He's one of the most out-of-touch people I've ever seen, but he's also one of the most fragile and thin-skinned people that I've ever seen, and he cannot get Barack Obama's name out of his head. It just can't happen. He is so envious and jealous and over-the-top jealous of Barack Obama. And so, really, folks, at the end of the day, do you want to know why he really hates the Affordable Care Act? Is because it's referred to as Obamacare. And all he can say in this next clip is Obamacare is bad. And I want you to listen very closely, because here comes his concept of a plan when it comes to how to go about fixing the health care. Listen close.
Amount deal, sir? On healthcare, Mr. President, 22 million Americans are expected to see their healthcare insurance premiums start to rise by the beginning of next year.
You're talking about because Obamacare is so bad?
Yes, well, sir, because the Obamacare subsidies are expiring. Are you going to do
because Obamacare is so bad.
What is the Republican plan? Are you going to let that happen on your watch?
What I'm going to do is, if the Democrats go along with it, which they don't want to because they want to make the insurance companies very rich, okay? I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care instead of paying to the insurance companies. Their stock has gone up 1,700% in a short period of time. Did you know that? 1,700. You wish your corn went up. But the insurance companies' stock has gone up by 1,700%, 1,800%. They're taking in trillions of dollars. I don't want to pay the insurance companies anything. And I know a lot of them, but they're owned by the Democrats. And the Democrats have... Obamacare is a setup to make insurance companies rich. And I want to pay the people, and I want the people to go out and buy their own health care. And that's what we want to do, and that's what the Republicans want to do, because Obamacare is a disaster. And I said it 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It was always a disaster. It's bad health care that's too expensive for people. And now your premiums, and you said it better than I said it. You said the Obamacare premiums are going to go up. They're going way up. And what I want to do is have the money. And you know who's getting that money? A lot of it is the insurance companies. I want the people to get the money and go out and buy their own health care. And everybody wants that.
So yeah, the only reason why that he says Obamacare is bad is because it's got Obama's name in it. He couldn't explain it to you at all. If he was ever asked to explain Obamacare and how it works, all he could do is go, it's bad, it doesn't work, it's not good for people, just trust me, I have a plan, I have a concept of a plan. But if you listen there, his concept of a plan was to give people money so they can buy their own insurance because the insurance companies are a scam. Well, okay, if you give people money to buy insurance, who are they going to buy insurance from? The insurance companies. And there were a whole lot of people over the years who have fell through the cracks and wasn't able to afford health care. And yes, I will be the first to admit that Obamacare was not perfect. But I know a whole lot of people that got health care for the first time in their lives and got the help they needed for the first time in their lives because of Obamacare. And had they just been handed money and told, go get it yourself, they would not have been able to do it with the income that they had. So his idea of, I'm just going to give you money and let you go buy it for yourself, that's not concepts of a plan. That's nowhere even near a plan. That's not a solution. That's not I have a way to make this better. He never has anything like that, not even remotely close. He never even comes close to saying, this is the idea of how we fix it. It's just, I have concepts of a plan. And then when you push him a little bit, the concept is that Obamacare is bad, and how about y'all just buy your own insurance? That's pretty much what he meant when he was on stage with Kamala. He said, I have concepts of a plan. Yeah, the concept is you're on your own. The concept is you're screwed and he's not going to be there to help you and he doesn't care. And neither does his followers. And his followers also don't care how easily he can get trapped in a lie. He may be fragile, he may be thin-skinned, and he may have a hard-on for Obama that he just cannot get rid of. But he also doesn't have the common sense to realize that when you say something into a live microphone that goes out into the world of social media and all over people's television sets, and they hear you say something, that they can roll it back and prove that you were lying. But even when it happens, even when he's fact-checked to his face, it's all just fake news. Watch these clips back to back.
Mr. President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
Mr. President, you released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release. No problem.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full video. Are you committed to releasing the full video?
Didn't I just tell you that?
You said that it was up to Secretary Hegseth.
You're the most obnoxious reporter in the whole place. Let me just tell you, you are an obnoxious, a terrible reporter, and it's always the same thing with you. I told you, whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
And that, folks, is exactly why we say that his followers jump through the hoops of the mental gymnastics. Because if you were sitting there listening to him and you heard him say, I would have no problem releasing the footage of the boat strikes, I would have no problem with that, and then turn around and go, I never said that. That's all fake news. You know, a while ago I was scrolling and I came across a clip that was satire. It clearly was satire, but I watched it twice and questioned it. I was like, wait a minute, is this really satire? Because the person was saying exactly what Trump's saying. Someone was saying to him, hey, he said this, and they were going, oh, no, he didn't. And they was like, well, right here he is saying it. And they was like, oh, no, well, that's fake news. You clearly didn't hear what he was saying. You took him out of context, blah, blah, blah. But how do these people line up behind him and still support him at this point in the game? I've said so many times, if you did it in 2016, fine. I can give you a pass for that one. But after that, everything that followed, how can you still line up behind a guy who just has so much thin skin, just such a weasel of a person, such a fragile human being, doesn't follow through on any of his promises other than he gave you a bunch of mean tweets, and then you can catch him in lies and you have to defend it. See, that's the thing. Like, if you sit there and went to bat for that, oh, yeah, you watch now, by God, he's going to release that boat strike. He didn't do nothing wrong. He's going to show all of you. And then, oh, he never said that. How do they do that? How do they manage to do that? And they've been doing it. Going on 10 years now. We've been going through this crap. When this whole thing is over, Donald Trump has took 12 years of our lives that we're never going to get back, and then he's not going to be gone even if he does leave office, because his memory is going to stick around and stink for years. It's going to be like that smell that got in your home one day and you could never get it out. I'm going to tell a funny story here, but it's just the absolute truth. One time I was living in this place, I rented it, and I never did exactly see what it was, how big it was, but a rat or a mice or something got under the bathtub and died. And we tried everything in the world to get the smell out of that trailer. It was the worst mess I had ever seen. We poured Pine Sol down the drains. We poured it down the vents. We did everything we could. We used every type of air freshener, every type of Febreze. There was not a damn thing we could do to get that smell out. It was the absolute worst. Finally, we ended up moving because it was like, hell with this. We can't fix this. We can't beat it. We're just going to have to go somewhere else. That's Donald Trump. He is the stench of a rat that just will not go away. And I don't want to leave this country. I don't want to get up and leave. I have people all the time, if you don't like it, leave it, man. I get comments, messages all the time. If you don't love it here, leave it. I do love it here, and that's why I'm standing up for it every day, and that's why I'm calling out Donald Trump's bullshit, because I love it, and I don't like seeing what it is that he turned it into, and I don't like the fact that I'm going to have to smell this dead rat for the rest of my life. That's what I don't like about it. That's why we call it out. There's so many good people out there calling this stuff out day in and day out. And I guarantee if you was talking to any of them, they would tell you just how tiresome it gets to always be sitting here going, hey, did you hear what he said? Yeah, you got a problem with that? Huh? Oh, well, right here he just contradicted himself. Well, so what, huh? And that stuff is just going to, believe it or not, he can grow that movement, because there will always be dumbasses. There will always be stupid people that they can pull into the conversation. And people like him and J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, all the powers that be, they love having these dumbasses because they're the easiest ones to manipulate and control. That's why we have to get louder, and that's why we have to come together, and that's why I don't get in on the whole Democrat progressive bashing all the time. Yes, I'll call it out when it needs to be called out. I'll point out the obvious when it needs to be said. I will point to what the base is wanting and what people are getting behind and what's resonating with people. I'll point those things out all day long. But I'm not going to come on here and just sit and scream and rant and rave and say that this is all on the Democrats when at the moment they're not in charge just yet. To me, if you sit there and scream, impeaching Democrats, you got to do it. Well, that's kind of like if your football team was down 50-7 and you went down to the sidelines and sat and screamed and cussed out the field goal kicker. It's like, yeah, we could use some field goals right now, but we really need to score some touchdowns and we need everybody to get in the game. And Republicans created this monster. They're the ones that's going to have to get rid of it. It's on them. We can sit back and scream at ourselves and get mad and fight amongst ourselves all day, but it's on them to get rid of the monster they created, and they won't do that because they don't want to lose power. So what are they doing? A lot of them's jumping ship now. They're going to retire. They're going to resign early, and they're going to head home, hoping they can come back later and the stench of that rat will be off of them, but it won't be. And as long as I'm alive, I'll always be right here pointing to them and telling them, I still smell Donald Trump all over you.